Beto O'Rourke is all fired up against the come and take it crowd. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says Miami only has a few years left. And the New York Times is under fire again for another offensive tweet. All that and more. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour.
And God bless the United States of America.
All right, friends, welcome to the show. I hope you had a great weekend. We've got a lot to cover, and it continues from last week. Beto seems to be, Robert Francis O'Rourke is milking his left-wing policies for all he can get. If you recall, in the presidential debate Thursday night, O'Rourke just went off on the Second Amendment and law-abiding, gun-carrying citizens. And now it's a full-blown campaign to take away that right, to take away our Second Amendment rights. And if you recall, on Thursday at that debate, Beto was asked, basically, are you planning to take firearms from law-abiding citizens? And here's what he said.
Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47. We're not going to allow it to be used against our fellow Americans anymore.
So following that statement, if you recall, I said, good luck with that, right? Well, others were even more fired up, more direct. State Representative Brisco Cain here in Texas tweeted out this. He said, my AR is ready for you, Robert Francis. So what did Beto do? He cried like a baby and put out this tweet. Check this out. This is a death threat, Representative. Clearly you shouldn't own an AR, and neither should anyone else. All right, so first of all, give me a break here, all right? If someone says, if you come onto my property and try to take my property, there's going to be problems. That's a threat? I mean, I don't even get it. And yet, guess what? That's what Twitter thought, because they said that they deleted his tweet, Brisco Cain's tweet, and said it was a violation of their policies. It's just absolutely outrageous. So that was round one. But I guess he thought there was some steam in this and some energy in this. So he's continued on with this assault against the Second Amendment. He went on MSNBC and things just got bizarre. First of all, as he told the host, Joy Reid, he contacted the FBI about Brisco Cain's tweet. He actually contacted the FBI. Here's what he said.
If we're ever threatened by anyone, we turn that over to law enforcement, as I think the campaign did yesterday evening. But I think that Brisco Cain makes our case for us, that no one should have a weapon designed for war that's used to kill people as effectively, as efficiently, in as great a number as possible, because it can be used, as he tried to do last night, as a tool of intimidation.
So he's saying that Representative Cain was trying to intimidate him, all right? Well, Beto is going on using his national platform as a candidate for president of the United States to threaten to take people's firearms away. That certainly sounds like intimidation to me on his side, and yet he's the one who's being intimidated and threatened. I don't even get it. But again, he's in this forum of MSNBC, and just to show you how twisted they are and how divorced from reality, Joy Reid, in asking a question, she said this. Check this out.
You're a Texan. Can you explain to those who do not understand this cultural phenomenon of essentially saying, I'm going to protect my Second Amendment rights and express that by threatening people and saying, come and get my guns, making implied threats of using the guns to hurt people or kill people as a tactic?
So first of all, protecting our Second Amendment rights is not some kind of cultural phenomenon. I mean, cultural phenomena, I don't even get it. And secondly, people are not saying, come and get my guns. They're saying, do not come and get my guns. Otherwise, there's going to be problems. It's our Second Amendment right. And they just don't get it. She'll make statements like that, which shows just how out of touch these people are. They don't know the Constitution. They don't know our rights. All they know is going after power and trying to get more power. And to respond to Reid, Beto said this.
Even from those Texans who own AR-15s, they've told me this themselves. I don't need this. I don't need it to hunt. I don't need it to protect myself. It was fun to use. I like taking it out to the range. But if giving this back or cutting it to pieces or selling it to the government helps to keep us safer, then by all means, let's do it.
Wow. First of all, Texans do not think that way. Okay. I own an AR-15. I train with it. I use it. And I have it not for hunting. I'm not a hunter, but for defense. And it's my right to have it. And for him to say he's going to take these is just absolutely nuts. And he led in after that on the show to talking about how people will give these up so schools will be safer and everything. How about actually protecting the schools and not making them targets, or all these other gun-free zones don't make them targets and allow people to defend themselves? How often do you think a shooter is going to show up knowing that he is in danger himself? It makes no sense. And this whole argument about the AR-15 is just a straw man anyway, because we all know the stats. We all know how many gun deaths, very small, come from the AR-15. That is just their target. And remember what we talked about on the last show over Labor Day. The people that were shot and killed in Midland and Odessa during that psycho's rampage, there were more people shot and killed and wounded in Chicago on the very same weekend, and I bet none of them had an AR-15. Yet they don't talk about that. They don't talk about the cultural issue that's leading to all this violence, how most of the violence is with handguns, and people are doing it to themselves, suicides and other things. When you talk about handgun deaths that are actually due to violence, most of that's coming from the inner cities, and it's not with AR-15s. So the left, again, is just a power play to take away people's rights, and they're going to keep pushing it unless we push back. Next, I want to talk to you about the New York Times, because, I've got to wonder, are these people, is the whole company simply employed by left-wingers who have no sense at all? Because on Friday, we talked about a tweet that they put out. On Wednesday was the 18th anniversary of 9/11. And they put out this tweet. They said, 18 years have passed since airplanes took aim and brought down the World Trade Center. Today, families will once again gather to grieve at the site where more than 2,000 people died. Yes, airplanes took aim. That's what they said. The tweet was ridiculed. They faced a bunch of backlash. They took it down. They had to issue a correction. So did they learn anything from that at all? Nothing. Nothing at all. So then they decided for some reason to go after Brett Kavanaugh. This is the New York Times. And this guy has been a Supreme Court justice for almost a year. They went through all those hearings. They brought all those uncredible people out of the woodwork, and it's done. Yet now they decide to do a feature story attacking Kavanaugh again, this time pulling out Deborah Ramirez. She was one of the ones they pulled out last summer who had no credibility at all. They're doing a story built around her, and they put out this tweet. They said, having a penis thrust in your face at a drunken dorm party may seem like harmless fun, but when Brett Kavanaugh did it to her, Deborah Ramirez says, it confirmed that she didn't belong at Yale in the first place. All right. There is so much wrong with that tweet. And again, it just makes you wonder who works at this place. Again, like I mentioned, Deborah Ramirez is not credible. And now, a year after this whole thing, all these hearings, and since his confirmation, they're bringing it up again. And the second thing is, did this person who put out this tweet, this company, the New York Times, actually believe that the actions they listed in the tweet are harmless fun? Sexual assault is not harmless fun. And yet this is what they put out. It's just crazy. And yet these people put this stuff out and they wait for the backlash to react. And sure enough, there was backlash, and the New York Times took down that tweet. And the first thing they put up was a little bizarre. They wrote, we have deleted an earlier tweet to this article that was poorly phrased. All right, poorly phrased. That's what they first put out. So guess what? That resulted in backlash too, and they had to put out another tweet. And finally, they said, we deleted a previous tweet regarding this article. It was offensive, and we apologize. So what a mess. It's just I don't know what's going on with that company. I wish they'd go out of business, and hopefully people will stop buying the product, and these lefties will realize that, hey, we do live in a capitalist society. If no one is gonna buy your stuff, if you have no audience for this left-wing garbage, then you'll be closing your doors pretty soon. So next I want to talk about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, because last week she said some stuff that it makes you scratch your head and wonder what's going on. And it also makes you kind of happy that the squad, her and Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, get so much attention, because it just focuses on the Democrats, and people associate Democrats with these people. And in this instance right here, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, out of form, she's talking about her Green New Deal, she's talking about climate change, and she says this.
When it comes to climate change, what is not realistic is not responding to the crisis not responding with a solution on the scale of the crisis. Because what's not realistic is Miami not existing in a few years. That's not realistic. So we need to be realistic about the problem.
Okay, so let's be realistic. Miami isn't going anywhere. And for her to say that is beyond irresponsible. It's incompetent. And she just says this stuff. She is not being realistic. And people buy into this. It's just amazing. And what was funny, just as a side note, I was looking through her Twitter feed to see if she said anything else about that statement. And you just find things, the things she says, the things she retweets. It's just funny how the left sticks together no matter how outrageous the person is. On her Twitter feed, she had a tweet from Dan Rather that she retweeted, and he wrote, "The president regularly lashes out at women of color with particular venom. I think it's because he instinctively knows they see right through him, and in their agency lies his demise." No, they don't see right through him. We see them for the ridiculous stuff they say and do and believe. It's just, that's why they are in the news so much. That's why the president goes after him. That's why people speak out. It's not just the president, it's everyone. That's why their approval ratings are dismal, because they say ridiculous stuff. So Dan Rather, go ahead and stick up for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. That's your right, but you're right in there with them. It's just ridiculous. So to circle back on Beto and his assault against the Second Amendment, there's a lot of talk about these red flag laws. And there's been debate in the House this past week. I wanted to bring you guys up to speed on it and update you with this report from the Washington Examiner. It says, House Democrats this week advanced a new measure to encourage states to pass red flag laws known as extreme risk protection orders that authorize removing guns and ammunition from dangerous individuals. Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee amended the measure during a Wednesday markup to authorize the federal government to issue extreme risk protection orders in some instances, but they rejected an amendment that would have red flagged anyone who law enforcement lists as a gang member. So the Democrats were upset that a Republican put forth an amendment to say, hey, we need to put, if you're going to do red flag laws, we need to list gang members on there too. And then they backed up. They, oh, no, we can have wrong people on the list and things like that, which is exactly part of the argument against these red flag laws. And just as a little note, the danger in these type of laws and the debate and the trickiness of this issue. If these were enacted, can you imagine the situation we talked about in the first segment? Representative Brisco Cain puts out a tweet saying, my AR is ready for you, Robert Francis. And people in power, Democrats or left in power, deem that as threatening. Then they take the next step further and say, oh, maybe this guy's unstable. We're going to take away his firearm because of these red flag laws. That's the slippery slope we're on, and that's what we need to watch out for. Folks, that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you on Wednesday. Please subscribe, and when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified. Have a great day. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour. Okay, friends, just a little reminder before you go, and no, this does not count against my 13 minutes. Please hit the subscribe button below and tell your friends. And if you happen to miss our last show, you can check it out right here. And also for great conservative news and commentary, please check out GOPUSA.com. All right, folks, we'll see you on the next show. Have a great day.